It's time for the BSing with the Guys live podcast.
It is time. Welcome to the show. Stay with us. Stay with us for a while because we are going to get into the latest on this conflict going on in Iran. I also want to take a look at that female mayor over here in our state, the lovely Louisiana, found guilty of rape after having sex with a 16-year-old boy. And, of course, we're going to talk about what some critics and supporters of the verdict have to say about that. Also, a father was convicted of murder for purchasing a gun that his son allegedly used in a school shooting over there in Georgia. Wow. I don't know if y'all remember the case, but he was found guilty. And as always, wherever else our minds and the chats take us. But at first, I want to talk about something I was listening to on the ride home a little while ago. I was listening to RFK Jr. on Rogan's podcast and just talking about the amount of basically poison that we fucking consume on a daily basis that's just purposely put in everything we fucking consume. And it's like I go listening to that shit and I almost have to stop because it's like you can't eat anything. Nothing. I mean, it's in the main one, you know, RFK, he's long criticized the U.S. food system. I mean, he's argued that it's riddled with toxic chemicals, which it is, ultra processed ingredients and just industrial practices that contribute to, widespread chronic diseases like obesity, diabetes, cancer, neurological disorders. The main one that he likes to talk a lot about is that glyphosate, which is basically Roundup or in Roundup, the active ingredient. It's a poison, and it's on everything that we consume pretty much, at least vegetable wise, it seems. Yes. And it started like, he was talking about why we use so much of it and how basically you can't just stop using it overnight because it would almost cripple the food chain in the United States because these farmers so heavily rely on this stuff, I guess, to be able to produce the amount of food that the United States consumes without bugs and just whatever else fucking destroying them. Yeah. So they have to use that shit.
And if I'm not wrong, which,
First of all, hold 1 second. What's up, CSR? I want to give you a shout out. I appreciate
what up, big dog?
You tuning in. But anyway, go ahead, Justin.
If I'm not wrong, I believe that the seeds that the farmers use are basically bred to work with Roundup so that they can spray the crops with Roundup and it doesn't kill the crops.
100%. There's 100%. A lot of it, especially corn.
Right.
It won't kill the corn. And another reason, they say, well, for one, 95% of the corn in the USA is used with that shit. And much of the wheat that we consume is also, benefits, I guess, if you want to say, from using that shit. Now, the problem is he was trying to basically explain that, like I said, if you were to just all of a sudden just make a blanket law saying you can't use that no more overnight,
we're done.
People, food wise, for a while, you would really fuck up the supply chain. So that's another reason why we kiss China's ass so much is kind of how it tied into, because they pretty much produce all of this glyphosate that we use. So if they were to get pissed at us and cut that off overnight, we would be fucked. So that's another thing that we're relying on another country for. And that's the type of shit Trump and this administration, they're trying to get done in this country. Because the conversation started because RFK Jr. said that they're trying to get that glyphosate produced in the United States. So, of course, Rogan's question was, well, why? Why not just get rid of it? And that's when he started to explain that it's not that simple, that these crops rely on this and these farmers rely on it. So we would be fucked if they just stopped poisoning us overnight. It's crazy to think that, just to hear that they know it's poisoning us, but we can't just stop it because then we're even worse off then, It's nuts.
I think it's the big seed lobby.
There ain't no telling. But the fact that we're relying on China for that, it's just such a weird, if you really think about it, we're relying on China to poison us and we can't stop it, without just some drawn out process of trying to get weaned off of it. It's terrible, man. And I mean, how long have we been consuming this bullshit?
Years. years. And when you look at it too, another thing to look at, it's like, as we've figured out on this journey that we've been on, talking off air, on air, it's like you can't trust anything that our government says, does, or tells us what to do. And when you sit back, you look at food pyramid, totally debunked, dude. What was good, what was bad for you probably isn't so bad for you anymore. Yeah. But it just shows you that big pharma, big ag, and the government are all in bed together. Why? And it all boils down to money. That's what it's all about. It is about obesity. It is about, you got fat people in the world. Guess what? Medical field's going to do great. If you had all healthy people running around, maybe not so much, Well,
yeah. And if you go by the old food pyramid, we're supposed to basically survive off of like oats and grains, like we're fucking cows or something. It's right. Crazy to think that they pushed that, to the general public, and everybody fell for it. They used to teach us that in school.
Absolutely.
Just this bullshit food pyramid that was just killing all of us, or making us sick at least. And that's part of what, another thing RFK got into a while back was just how it's almost like these food companies are almost in bed with the healthcare system in this country, because they've done nothing but mass produced garbage that's addictive, with the sugars and whatever else they're putting in it that continues to make people consume this shit, and at the same time make you sick, to where now you're relying on the American healthcare system to take care of you for the rest of your life, which is what you're doing there is, of course, paying into that system the entire time. So they love it. So it's almost like it's just never ending cycle, and they love it. You're addicted to the junk, and then in return, you got to go pay to get health care for your whole fucking life, whether you're on certain types of medicines or, whatever. You people live in the fucking doctor's office nowadays when you get older.
And how do you pick who to believe on what's good for you, though? Because, so when I was younger in school, probably elementary, middle school, but regardless, the big thing was watching the fats you intake, the trans fat versus saturated fat, and then it comes out like that's not really as important as watching the sugar you intake, right? And these were studies that were allegedly done by big sugar companies, to say, oh, it's the fats in the food that's making people fat, and then they find, oh no, it's actually just high sugar intake is making people fat. And
so how do you know, like, who to believe in this? Because everybody's paid off. Everybody that does these studies can be persuaded to make that study go a certain way by, a financial benefit, basically. So I'm with you. It's like, what the fuck do you believe? Because there was this war on sugar, like you said, for a while. Then all of a sudden, Big Sugar comes out and says, no, it's not us,
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like we're at a point where the government's kind of listening to the studies. Like, they're going to make their recommendations off of big studies that are done, but they're paid for by the food companies, right? Exactly. But if the studies were done by the government, we're not going to believe those either. You know what I mean? We're not going to, the government says, fucking Snickers bars are the healthiest thing in America. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to believe the studies done by the government, but you can't believe the studies done by private parties either, because they're paid.
Yeah, well, there was the war on red meat for a while. They were like, oh, when you die, the average person has so many pounds of red meat in their fucking intestines or whatever, and they found out that was bullshit. That was a lie. So I'm with you. It's like, how the fuck do you know what to believe with these people? For the longest time when I was young, they were convincing you to use Crisco instead of butter, and all that was basically a solvent for an industrial solvent that they decided they could turn into a food product. That's how fucking disgusting these people are. And sit there and sell it in commercials and shit with women smiling, holding it up, cooking their fucking pastries and shit with it. And the whole system jumps behind them and says, yeah, it's good. It's okay for you, including, like you said, the FDA.
Just like margarine. That's another one.
Yeah, that was another one. We were just consuming basically plastic or whatever the fuck that is. And they were trying to convince you it was better than natural butter.
Yeah,
so
and
these
it's
people
like,
are fucking sick, man.
Even if butter's unhealthy, like, okay, so the alternative is unhealthy margarine. At least butter tastes good. Fuck. Like, if we're going to be unhealthy, let's at least use the shit that tastes the best.
Yeah, I just don't even, none of it's designed behind health. I guess it's just cheaper products that they can mass produce and then convince you that it's
super
good.
refined, man.
Right, because I don't think any of it's done with the intentions on killing you after you consume it a couple times, but I think it's all profit driven.
Yeah.
It's just so much more profit in mass producing this junk instead of healthy alternatives. I mean, you see that now. You can just go buy junk food cheaper than you can health food for the most part,
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's just how we live.
And
what
junk
we've
food
become
stays
used to.
good so long. You
It's
go buy
fucking
salads,
preservatives.
go buy a bunch of lettuce and potatoes, and you have to cook that shit like when you fucking buy it, or it's gonna go bad. You can go buy a frozen pizza. That shit'll stay in the freezer for 2 months if you haven't eaten it, and you pop it out, pop it in the oven, you're good to go.
Loaf of bread. Look at a loaf of bread. Bake your own bread with flour and a little bit of yeast, and see how long it lasts for. And buy a loaf of bread and see how long it lasts for.
Well, I know CSR 5407, whatever the hell his name. One day we'll get to know his name, but he mentioned it. But another thing that RFK was talking about was that in other countries like Europe, for instance, a lot of these ingredients they can't even use over there.
Right.
And they can use some of the glyphosate, but not at the amounts that we do. With us, it's just all fucking everything. Where Europe is a lot more restricted and banned in some context. But a lot of other countries around the world, man, they put fucking rules and regulations in place to where you're not just sitting there poisoning your citizens with food, and we don't. And we're supposed to be the best country on earth, and it's all just a fucking facade.
Right.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
What's up, Matt?
What up, Matt?
What up? So anyway, I mean, yeah, it like I said, I wasn't even planning on bringing that up tonight, but I was driving home and I started listening to it, and it just disgusts me to know how much of this shit we've all put into our bodies, and they don't give a fuck. They're only stopping some of it because of people like RFK that are coming out and calling these fuckers out on a fucking global scale now. And it took Trump to put somebody like him in charge, because he was the first one that is in charge of the healthcare system in this country that was allowed to pick the people that work under him. Everybody else is just appointed by the president. So it's whoever, I guess, scratched your back, you get this job, you get that one. Well, RFK said he gave me the job and gave me the reins and said, do what you got to do. Make it better. Get who you have to get in here. It's all yours. You know what I mean? And if you can't give Trump credit for anything else, at least give him credit for that, because I mean, he's trying to find a way to make a healthier way of living for people coming up in this country. And it's a shame that it took him to get into office to finally start trying to do something about this shit, where the last administrations, they know all this is going on. They know it's been going on for decades. But, how much money is given to them by these food companies and their campaigns and shit? Everything is profit driven, and it's fucking sick, man. It's disgusting.
I actually have a pretty decent video that fits into this, so I'm glad you brought it up first.
Pull it up.
Chris K here with, you've heard about it. Here it is,
That's
big
McDonald's
arch.
CEO.
This is something that we have tested already in Portugal, Germany, Canada. I love this product. It is so good. I'm going to do a tasting right now, but I'm going to eat this for my lunch, just so you know. So here we go. First, holy cow. God, that is a big burger.
Food.
We've got a very unique kind of sesame poppy sort of bun on it. We've got 2 quarter-pound patties, a delicious Big Arch sauce, and of course some lettuce. So, there's so much going on with this. First of all, let's try to get this thing. I don't even know how to attack
if you
it.
think he loves
Got
this
so much
burger.
to it.
Let's see.
Oh, there's also some crispy onions on here as well. I see those kind of coming out. All right, the moment of truth.
Imagine hanging around this guy. What he did, nibbled the fucking
nibbled
bread.
it.
That is so good. That's a
He ain't
big
eating
bite
that
for a
shit.
big
I
arch.
don't blame him.
It's distinctively McDonald's. Only McDonald's could do this type of burger, but it also is unlike
What are they
anything
doing?
else on our
Promoting a new
menu.
burger?
Yeah, it's a new burger, a new menu item, but
Oh, Jesus.
so he's all over the place. Everybody's kind of making fun of him because it's like, you won't even eat your own fucking food.
Yeah.
Like, you know how terrible this shit is for you that
Yeah,
you
that's-
just take a little fucking nibble for a commercial, and
Yeah, I would say that's some of the worst shit for you right there, man. And people are just addicted to it, you know. And it's not, you know, the answer isn't to not offer that to people, but the answer is to educate people, which is what they haven't done for decades because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that there's healthier alternatives out there. You know, they want you addicted to this junk because it serves two purposes. Like I said, it gets these food corporations filthy rich, and it gets the pharmaceutical companies filthy rich. It gets the healthcare system in general filthy rich by keeping us sick, you know? And it's a disgusting game they play, man. And like I said, you know, we grow up believing that this is the best place on earth to live. I mean, they you know, start brainwashing you from a young age to stand up and pledge your allegiance to this fucking country. Meanwhile, they're doing nothing but shitting on you the entire time. It's fucking nuts, man. And then, you know, like I said, any type of positive move Trump tries to make, like getting RFK to stop some of this shit, he still catches flack for it. It's like, I mean, there's no winning, I guess, if you're Trump right now. Because to me, that was a good move he did. If nothing else, at least give people the option to be healthy. And like I said, it's not, the answer isn't banning shit, because that's, you know, that's socialism, and that's the same shit that we fight against, which is tyrants. But let people know there's a better alternative, which I know RFK said he is working on a system to where food that you purchase in the grocery stores will have like a color-coded system on the packaging telling you the healthiness of it. And he said it'll be like a red, yellow, green type thing. And I guess, you know, green probably being the healthiest option, and it'll just kind of go down.
There ain't going to be much of that.
Right. So but they're working on getting it to where food, you know, companies have to put that on the packaging to at least let people know you can buy this, but it's trash. And that's all I asked for. You know,
we're just all going to be too poor to afford the green shit.
Well, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be 3 times as much as, you know, the red shit, but at least it's there. It's an option, you know.
Yeah.
It's an option.
CSR, are you talking about Teflon? Sounds like he's talking about Teflon.
My last company literally poisoned the entire world. That one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Probably so.
Because I believe it is like a thing that everybody has Teflon in them. Just I guess the microplastics from it or whatever, because it's being released into the water.
Well, that and just everything we consume. I mean, bottled waters.
Well, it was the Teflon companies, like, specifically because they didn't. So the nonstick coating on pans,
right,
for a while were Teflon, and they didn't tell you that, like, hey, it's fucking terrible for you if it heats up past a certain temperature. So you were cooking Teflon into your fucking food.
That's what made it so good, dude. Shit.
Yeah. You know, and the worst part is we're probably the guinea pigs. Like, you know, my generation, Brad, because I would think like our grandparents, it was probably healthier eating back then. I don't know. I'm just assuming because that was before plastics ruled everything. You know, because you talk to they got people that are still living
straight cast iron.
Exactly, and that's what I started doing. That's what I have on my stove constantly is cast iron. I try to remember not to microwave anything in plastic. You know, it's a bad habit everybody develops, so it's not like I just stop totally because sometimes I don't think about it, but it's just terrible, man, that they should at least tell you that. Like, hey, you can buy this shit and heat stuff up in it all you want, because they love to put microwave safe on stuff. And it's like, well, it's safe for the microwave, but what about my fucking body? You know? Yeah. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, and see, like, Slapshot says, yeah, Teflon's poison while you smoke and drink your poison. But I know this is poison.
Exactly. I'm not, they're not hiding behind saying, man, alcohol is fucking great for you. Like, just drink as much as you can, you know? That's the difference. They at least have to tell you. Now, they wouldn't if they didn't have to. Cigarettes and alcohol, like because I remember when I was younger, there was no warning on cigarette packs. That shit started in my lifetime to where they made them start doing it, which is all I say. You know, just at least warn people this shit will kill you. And if you want to do it, do it. That's it. I mean, that's all we asked for. And that's all RFK is pushing for, because he kept kind of reiterating that he's not trying to ban anything. He's trying to educate people because it's, you know, and that's it. You make your own choices in life, but here are your choices.
Well, I saw today, I don't know if it was true or not, because I was literally scrolling past and it said something about him trying to get rid of the, like the 3D printed meat or the fake, you know, meat. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yeah.
Heard anything about it? No.
Yeah, I saw the headline on that they were trying to, I guess, ban the production of it. And that, where my mind went was, why? If people want to eat it, let them eat it, but at least put on the packaging. This shit was made in the lab. You know, this isn't natural meat. We made this. Here are the ingredients. And then if you want to consume that shit, consume it. I don't give a fuck if you want to eat Tupperware, but at least let people know it's not good for you, you know?
But you know, rolling into that point there, it's like, do we truly know what's good for us anymore now with all of these mRNAs and vaccines that they can inject in meat? I saw something on YouTube where they can now put vaccines in lettuce, tomatoes. You know, so it's like, God, unless you grow it yourself and raise it yourself,
that's like, it. But they know the average American can't do that. They're not set up for it, nor do they know how. And that's a purposely done thing. They do not want you self-sufficient in this country. That's the last thing they want. They don't want you being 100%. Able to do that shit. And that's the only way you're safe from any of it. You raise your own cattle, you raise, you know, your chickens, you grow your own fucking plants. But most people don't have the room nor the, you know, the knowledge. The time,
right? Exactly. Yeah.
We talked about that on the last episode. Justin's like, "Fuck it, figure it out. Do that shit in your closet like you grow weed." You know?
Somebody did it.
So we all got Matt was in the comments talking about raise a cow in your closets. Fuck it, let's do it. But
there you go.
Honestly, most people just don't have, you know, that knowledge for one, or you know, the time. I mean,
honestly, why couldn't you keep? You know, I mean, it'd be hard to eat a pet, but like, why couldn't you keep goats like you do dogs? And like, look,
eat them
when they're old enough.
You can.
It's food, right?
You can, but you better
Everybody
have somewhere
keeps
to keep
dogs.
Them.
Yeah, rabbits.
Yeah, but dogs are trainable. You ever try to train a goat? My God!
Well, when he pisses you off, you eat him.
And that's what happened. He pissed me off one too many times and caught a 22 slug. But yeah, goats are stubborn. It's not like dogs. But I see your point. Like, if you got the time and the means and the energy to raise a fucking animal, why not do one you can slaughter and eat? You know. But anyway, point is, we're being poisoned. They know it. They don't care. RFK's trying to stop it. Love Trump, hate Trump. I don't care. At least give him credit for that, because I'm tired of consuming this shit ignorantly, you know, not knowing how bad it was for us. Now that I know, I want to live on water. And then half the time you hear horror stories about that. You know, it's like the water's fucking tainted, and you know, so
mercury levels and fluoride in your drinking water, man. You know, no, exactly.
You can't win. And all they like to do is tell you how the lifespan, you know, the expectancy is better than it was. And it's like, yeah, but everybody's living on pills and in and out the hospitals, and it's like, does that make it better just because you live longer sick as a fucking dog? I mean, you know, we could live a healthier life if they'd stop fucking lying to us, you know. Anyway, but he's right. Chris is right. I see him in the it's a slippery slope on food bans. That's what we were saying. I don't see a point in banning anything, you know, but educate people on how bad it can be for you if consumed in high levels. Because that's pretty much anything. A lot of things in moderation aren't bad for you. But when every day of your life you're eating fucking glyphosate-coated fucking foods, you know, it's like, it can't be good. It can't.
Nope.
I mean, you know, so do what you want with that information. But that's all I think, is they should at least put the info out there and let you do what you got to do with it. So from that, let's move on. I do want to talk about over here in our state, man. We've got a little Louisiana mayor over here guilty of rape. Of course, having sex with a 16-year-old male at a drunken pool party. Sounds like a hell of a time to me, but apparently the kid that was involved in this didn't like it. Now, you know the big argument behind that, since it was a woman.
Yes.
You know, are the stakes the same, or should they be, you know, is basically what the internet goes to. And as a society, it seems, at least for men, you know, we seem to kind of give these people a pass, you know, and I know that's generalizing, but for the most part, most men are like, fuck yeah. You know, like what's the problem here, you know?
Exactly.
16 years old, drunk with a MILF. I mean, I'm cool with it. Myself, hey, whatever. But apparently, like I said, this kid that it happened to, you know, didn't like the fact that he was pissy drunk, and she, quote unquote, took advantage of him. But she was convicted, faces a ton of years in prison. And
sounds like it.
You know, like I said, the big argument is should they show some leniency on her since it wasn't like, it's not like the same as like forcible type rape as a man does to a woman, so to say. I mean, does it any different in you guys' minds, or is it like, fuck it, throw the book at this bitch,
Yeah.
Equality, dog.
Equality. I like that, Justin. I like it. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Took the words out of my mouth.
But then, we get into it if that's it. God, it's such a crazy subject because people get ass hurt over it. But if that's your son at 16, assuming he don't have a problem with it, are you reporting that? Because I think the issue here is the kid actually had an issue with it. Like he wanted to report. Now, in school, I thought it was cool. They were calling him the mayor slayer. Like, fuck it. I'd put that shit on a shirt and wear it proudly. But not everybody feels the same way. So, anyway,
Nope. Crime's a crime. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Who's in the, let me read the comments here. Because I told you this rubs people the wrong way. And I knew it. That's why I was asking, because that's what the internet's all about. Check this guy's hard drives. Yeah. We're talking about a 16-year-old boy fucking a woman. Fuck out of here. You would turn into some child porn shit. We need to check yours. You know my point. Don't act stupid. That was the question behind it. It was brought up the topic as a question to anybody watching. Like, do you look at it any different?
Exactly.
Than you would if it was a male doing that to a 16-year-old girl? Because I do. Honestly, I can't help it. It's just a natural reaction, I guess, because I put myself in that 16-year-old guy's place. So I'm thinking, well, I wouldn't feel victimized, but if that was a 16-year-old girl, you're fucking right. You need to hang the guy. And I'm not saying that's right. That's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with that. That's why if you read the scroll across the screen, it says your thoughts. I was curious to see what people thought, because that's the big conversation going on X when this news broke. People are looking at it from different ways, man.
Absolutely.
Like always, So anyway, yeah, it's not about, even though legally, you're right. Legally, it is what it is. It's legal. He's a kid, because you cannot consent in Louisiana until you're 17.
Right.
So, I mean, technically, this dumb bitch could have waited. I don't know what her deal is. I just couldn't imagine being that hard up that, you're a mayor of a small town over there and you just can't control your sexual urges. You go push yourself on your son's friend or your daughter's friends, whoever it was. It seems kind of weird to me. Now, if you look at this woman's history, or family history, her brother is serving decades in prison for pretty much the same thing.
Jesus.
So is this like a family fucking affair, And now when I read that story, my mind goes to anger towards this man that did this to a young girl. And that's what I was meaning, just how society, like, it gets looked at different for some reason when it's 16, 17-year-old boy having sexual intercourse with a grown woman, Now, like I said, this kid apparently didn't like the fact that it happened. So by all means, charges need to be pressed, and she was found guilty. So be it. I was asking the question more from, any men watching. If you were 16, would you, is it any different in your mind,
Yeah, if I was 16, I wouldn't have wanted my parents to turn her in. So
no, I'd be the mayor slayer for the rest of my life.
Mayor slayer.
So anyway, that's all.
What a good campaign slogan.
The mayor slayer. I thought it was funny, but I have never, let's see. I never had that good luck. See, that's what I'm talking about. Now, some people look at it like that, which is what not a normal guys do. Not saying it's right or wrong, but that's how a lot of guys approach it, unless you're just a pussy. Like we get some of them saying, check this hard drive. Like this is how most guys react to it, because we're not talking about a 5-year-old, we're talking about a fucking 16-year-old fucking a MILF. It's like, to me, it's a win. But when that 16-year-old has a problem with it, it's no longer a win. And it's
a problem.
Something
Yes.
needed to happen. Yeah. I mean, we joke
Absolutely.
around about it a lot. And just because we are guys, I mean, it is called BSing with the guys. So sorry, you know, we're a little, can be offensive sometimes. We don't mean to,
Yes.
but point of
change
this,
it to BSing with the bitches.
yeah, BSing with the bitches. We're politically correct. We're going to go ahead and say 16-year-olds are not attracted to grown women. Yeah. You know, anyway, that's not reality because everybody is probably around him is like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what? You should have kept that going.
Hey, somebody's got one for you though.
For me?
Oh yeah, right there.
Fuck. MJR. What kind of dumbass question is that? That's two different, like, one at what? Like, they're not going to play each other. One's 7 foot fucking tall, you know. The other one, yeah, that's a weird one.
They could.
Yeah, but anyway.
CRS says my kids wouldn't have been there anyway.
Well, that's a good point. You know, why not at a party? First of all, I mean, you're 16. I mean, it's. I don't guess it was broadcasted that hey, I'm going to a party where I'm gonna be getting fucked up.
I think, like. She was like in talks with the boy's mother for a while on basically if she was pregnant and taking birth control and shit. Like,
we'll read the scrolling thing real quick. Just a thug angel. We talking about real quick, Justin. Yeah, we're talking about a female Louisiana mayor guilty of rape now after having sex with a 16-year-old male at a pool party, and we were just discussing on whether or not it's right or wrong to look at those situations different like we do a lot of times in this country as far as not looking at a 16-year-old boy as a victim, so to say, like we do women, you know, or girls. Because girls, that's where your brain automatically goes. If somebody took advantage of this young girl and this dude needs his nuts cut off. Us, you know, with the bro shit is like, fuck yeah, bro. You know? So anyway, that's what we were talking about. So anyway, what'd you say, Justin? She what?
oh, she was texting with the boy's mom, like about Plan B and if she was pregnant and shit like that.
What is
like after the fact, before I guess it had gotten reported to the police? Like they were, I guess they were friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do see that the DoorDash driver confirmed delivering Plan B emergency contraception to Robert's home shortly after the party, following text messages where the victim's mother expressed pregnancy concerns. What? So the victim's mom knew?
Yeah.
So where did the problem come in? I mean, honestly, I guess it was the boy, or because I also see that the teacher or the mayor's daughter
walked in
saw
on it?
what was going on through like a window or something, that her mother was making out with the minor. So I think she texted her mom and was like, he's 17, which he was actually 16 at the time. Right. But she texted he's 17. So if that's the legal age of consent and the mayor thought he was 17, maybe she'd have had a case. But I guess just because you can consent at 17 doesn't mean you do. Even if she thought he was 17, it still doesn't make it right if he's not consenting.
Not at all.
Being pissy drunk, you can't give consent. That's how that works, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can't be drunk and then somebody says, well, they told me I could do it, so I put it in her butt. You know, it's not, it doesn't work like that, apparently.
No.
Just from reading up on the laws. So look, in this case, I think justice was served because the 16-year-old was not happy about it, apparently. You know?
Exactly.
It's the ones that get me is when the 16-year-old has no problem with it, and then the parents do. Because that's why I was asking if it's your 16-year-old son, and he's like, look, she didn't take advantage. I was fine with it, you know, and they want to go press charges, you know, or would you press charges if your 16-year-old was like, look, I don't have a problem with it. You know, we got drunk, we had some fun, it's over, whatever, you know. Is it still your obligation, you know, as a parent to go to the authorities with that?
Yeah.
You know?
You would think.
Like Midwest said, I believe with the 17 being the age of consent, that until you're 18, I believe it's like a 3 or something year gap. So
yes,
it's
well,
like
I thought that was only in the school system, though, man. I thought that was like teacher-student kind of stuff. Do you see where I'm coming from with that?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I think it's just for everybody, so that like if you're a senior dating a freshman, you can't get in trouble. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if
might be
she's
right.
17 and you're 19,
Yeah.
technically, if that law wasn't there, it would be illegal. But it's like we were both in high school and we're dating before we got out of high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's. I know what you mean. It's a weird law, man. It's a very slippery slope. So the best thing to do is just stay the fuck away from. If you're 18 or older, just stay the fuck away. That's it.
Right.
Wait, find somebody else fucking 18. I mean, it seems to be simple. And I was, I brought up her brother earlier. He was sentenced to 32 years in prison for pleading guilty to raping a 13-year-old girl and another young woman over 3 years. Now, like you say, you read shit like that and you wish nothing but the worst for this guy. Right. But it's just not where my brain goes anytime I see one of these female teachers having sex with a student. Now, like I said, this case is a little different because apparently the 16-year-old didn't like the fact that he was, quote unquote, taken advantage of while he was drunk. So I think, like I had mentioned earlier, I would assume justice was served in this case. But you hear about them all the time where these teachers are doing that, and the student didn't have a problem with it. The parents did. So, it just opens up a lot of that discussion from people that I see all the time on, whether or not there should be some leniency when it's a woman doing that to a 16-year-old, which I don't think so. I'm with Justin. Equal rights, equal opportunities, equal prison sentences.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
the 16-year-old has a problem with it, for sure. And you can't even really base it on that, because then it's like, well, what about if the 16-year-old girl doesn't have a problem with it? It's like, no, fuck that. No, we're not going down that road. Right. But we're we're hardwired to protect women and females, you know what I mean, more than males in this society that we're in. It's just how we are. That's just programmed into a man's brain that you go in defense mode when a female is involved, and that defense mode doesn't quite kick in as fast or as hard when you start talking about something like this happening to a male. It's just weird how that's how a lot of people's brains work, including mine. Because like I said, I'll scroll past, another teacher fucking a student, another woman teacher, whatever, when really I should look at it just as disgustingly as you would have as a man doing that to a female student, but it's just
and what
not
do you
how
think?
A lot of our.
You think the court's going to be a little more lenient on her as being a woman versus if it was a man?
No,
I don't think so either. I don't think they should,
unless she's got some pull in that little town, because it's a small town. I want to say, if I read it correctly earlier, it's like 10,000 people or something, or maybe even less than that. So everybody knows everybody, and she's the fucking mayor. So they're either going to make an example. Yeah, DeRitter. They're either going to make an example out of her, or she's going to have some pull. You know what I mean? And I think they probably need to make an example out of her, because you see these stories happening all the time with these women and these teachers. And like I said, looking at it from my brain back when I was high school age or whatever, I'm thinking, hey, fuck, that would be awesome. But it's still illegal,
And all these bitches are always married.
Yes, and it's like, what are driving these women to be with these kids? Because you don't see that. It's always shocking because it's so disproportionate as far as the men that prey on kids compared to women. It's just not natural. It's not normal because for the most part, women aren't driven by sexual desires. Not saying they don't have them, but that's not their driving force. Where for a lot of men, especially when we're young, that's our driving force in life, trying to get laid. It's what we do. It's how we keep the fucking the species going. You know what I mean? So I get it. It's just, but women, you don't see that a lot. That's just their driving force in life is to fuck somebody. So I'm thinking, what are these women doing? Like, you're married, you got a husband at home, and you're fucking with kids. It's just so weird when you see it, coming from that standpoint of it being a woman doing that, is odd by itself. And then you look at some of these teachers who, let's face it, a lot of them are attractive. So then you're thinking, damn, if I was 16, motherfucker, I'd have paid to go home with her, So right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Whatever you believe about that, that's fine. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying that from the most people I talk to of, males, a lot of them say, Yeah, I mean, if the kid didn't mind it, fuck it, but you can't really run society on that. You have to have rules, you have to have laws. And if one sex is guilty of it, the other one needs to be also. And these women need to stop. Go find some 18-year-old dick. Stop messing with these 16-year-olds, man. And younger. You hear cases where they're fucking 12, 13, 14-year-olds. It's terrible. It's crazy, man. It's like, what is going on in a woman's mind? Are you that fucking just lonely and you need that much attention that a 13-year-old's making you feel good by telling you you look good? I mean, Jesus Christ. They don't need to be teaching, that's for sure. So,
Not at all.
Anyway. I used to be, let me see some of these comments because they probably, I don't know, some of them probably destroying me. Other ones are, I used to be a child and there was times I consented to do things with those I loved. You are not the arbiter of truth in playing. I don't know. He's talking to whoever that other guy is, but anyway, Shane, unfortunately true. And that's all I meant by this. Like you said, the goofball the first one that commented on the subject was, like we were turning into some kind of pro pedo talk. And that's not, I don't care how you want to look at it. It is true that most of society doesn't give it the same thought as they do if that was a male sitting there in that mugshot. You know what I mean? Now you can try to lie and say that, no, I would look at it the same, like lie to yourself. I know the big portion of society, especially men, don't look at it the same. I'm not saying it's right, but that is the fucking truth. And if you say it's not, you're lying to yourself. So that's all there is to it. And I surveyed every male in the country, so I know I got the answer to this. I'm speaking on behalf of all men. If I was 16, I'd have tapped it and then bragged about it. So that's just me. Call it what you want. So anyway, anything else on this story, Justin, worth talking about?
Nope.
No. Beat that.
It'll be interesting to see her sentence. See how
that is true. Yeah, that is one thing that will be interesting. That we'll leave it with that. Is I can't wait. To see what they do, because I really believe, as much as I would enjoy that as a 16-year-old boy, I think a message needs to be sent to these adult women that
absolutely
are,
100%.
doing this to these school-aged kids, because right is right, wrong is wrong. It's fucking illegal. Keep your fucking pants up until someone's 18 years old, and it's simple. It's a simple process. I mean, we all did it. I mean, I wasn't 18 out there chasing 16-year-olds. It's just not, you know what I mean? It's a simple concept. So
100%.
Anyway, well, let's move on. Next story, of course, that Georgia father who gifted a gun to his son, who then allegedly, because he hasn't, I guess, been convicted yet, of shooting up that school. And hold on a second. Let me get that typo out of there. And I'm coming. Boom. All right. Yeah, I caught a typo as soon as I put it up there because I can't spell. Anyway. All right.
Okay.
So, I want to say, we went through this before, but it was out there in, what's his name? Colin Gray, the father of a 14-year-old, Colt Gray, convicted of second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter for gifting his son an AR-15. Used September 24th at a high school shooting that killed 2 students, 2 teachers, and the jury was just deliberating under 2 hours. Now, I know when we talked about this case before, going through all of the red flags that were there, that this father knew, and pretty much everyone that was around this kid knew. I personally think the jury came to a right decision on this guy. I mean,
absolutely.
Some people don't believe that because they think it sets a bad precedent as far as holding parents responsible for the wrongdoings of their children. But Justin, you may remember more about the case than I did, as far as all the background to it on what was going on with this kid. And
he was a fucking nut. The police kept coming to the house talking about, he was threatening school shootings on Discord and talking to the counselor about if they were having shooting drills at the school and just all kinds of shit. They had, I think there was, once it was the cops and then once it was family services came to the house. And I believe both times the dad was warned to probably not let him be around weapons.
Yeah.
And instead of taking that advice, he gave him an AR-15.
Yeah, and I think I know the gun was gifted to him after the 2023 threat investigation. So apparently his kid had made threats before, and they did an investigation, told him, hey, look, you need to watch this kid, basically, and he still gave him the gun.
Yeah, the 2023 was the Discord threats that the FBI got a hold of and sent the police over to the house.
Right, and they said his son basically had a shrine, you know, with an obsession with the Parkland shooting.
Yes.
And had photos where his dad's defense was he thought it was photos of Green Day, the band. A band member is what his excuse for not seeing that sign, that your child's obsessing over another school shooter and you're giving him a fucking gun, you know? Anyway, like I said, it's, you know, the supporters of the verdict, especially the DA, of course, saying they're very happy. The victims are happy. You know, he called it a precedent that moved the needle on parental responsibility. Colin had all the info to prevent it, but ignored the warnings. Very true. You know, if you watch the case at all, that's very true. You know, the lot of gun safety advocates that I was reading were, you know, just talking about it was just a terrible, terrible path that the father took to not take these warnings serious, especially when they talk like 76% of under 18 school shooters get guns from the home. I mean, that's where they have access to them.
Right.
So in a case like this, when you know your kid is a fucking nut, then it should be on you to prevent
Absolutely.
Nothing about it. Right.
Like we were saying the last time we had talked about it, it's not that he had guns in the house that, you know, Buddy got access to, but he gave him an AR-15 after all these red flags, which is fucking nuts to me.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Totally.
that they had a lot of pushback on the verdict. You know, some people were saying just the legal concerns of it's a slippery slope. You know, it's kind of hindsight bias. Like, you know, you can look at it and say, well, he should have known this, he should have known that. So if you're going to convict everybody on hindsight, you know, it's a dangerous path you're going down, is what they're claiming. You know, he's basically saying his dad didn't know for sure that his son was going to hurt anybody. It's not like he gave him the gun and said, go out and do harm, you know? So they're looking at it like you're getting punished for your child's crime. And then it's like, then you start getting into like the inner city issues where these young kids are running around shooting people and the crime that's going on there. So do you start holding all of those parents accountable also? Now, I guess if they're providing the weapon, then yeah, but I don't think you should hold a parent, you know, liable for every fucking action that a child does.
No, I think the red flags are the big defining factor here. Of you've had officials come to your house warning you that your kid could possibly be a danger to society.
Yeah.
And then you give him a weapon. It makes no sense. Like, I think that's the biggest problem here.
No, and it seems pretty cut and dry. I mean, it seems cut and dry. I didn't think any of y'all would disagree. I just figured I'd bring it up to see, you know, see what the chat's thought about it. I mean, I don't know any other way to look at this, but there could have been lives saved had this father not been a total fucking idiot. You know, if you followed this case at all, I mean, there were videos of the police going to the kid's house and interviewing him and the father's just kind of trying to blow it off like it's nothing. And, he's not, it's not serious, you know, whatever he's saying, he wasn't serious about it. Instead of taking a deeper look into what was being reported, he just blew the shit off. Like, not my son, you know, he wouldn't do anything crazy like that.
Right. Because he even told the police, he was like, basically, hey, when you talk to him, make sure that you instill it in him that this isn't good, you know, like this is a serious thing, And I saw people kind of commenting on that video, like, isn't that your job? You know, you teach your fucking son that that's not good. You know, that's maybe true. Before the fucking FBI and the police show up to your door because he's threatening school shootings.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It seemed pretty cut and dry, pretty preventable. I want to say what is he facing? Based on Georgia law, 27 counts he was found guilty of.
Wow.
He is looking at. Could just give me a
Life
simple
in prison.
fucking answer. Potentially 30 plus years minimum if the murder sentences run consecutively and others add on up to life. So he's facing some fucking time. I don't think they're going to give him a slap on the wrist at all with this, because this is a major,
Nor should
major fucking, yes.
This is a make an example case for sure. And
Exactly. I was gonna say
Midwest, we're talking about the dad. The dad is facing 27 counts, or no, got convicted on 27 counts, awaiting
7 counts.
sentencing.
Yeah. Yeah, convicted. So the sons, he's still yet to go to trial. You know, it takes forever for the actual school shooters because they go through all this long, lengthy process of examining their fucking heads to see if they're fit for trial. Like, fuck them.
Yes.
Who cares? You know, if it's a
Right.
cut and dry
But-
thing, fuck him and his fucking.
So
his
doesn't
thought
this
process.
kind of, I mean, like, obviously fuck the son because, I mean, he fucking did it, right? But wouldn't the dad's guilty verdict play a big role in the son's trial, even though it hasn't happened yet? Because how can the dad be guilty if the son's not?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think the son, it's not even I don't think it's going to be a guilt or not guilty. You know what they always go for is he fit for trial?
Well,
you know,
no
insanity
doubt.
pleas.
But I'm just talking about like in the perfect scenario of the law,
Yeah.
right? Like this case, it seems like it's kind of tried backwards because even if it wasn't the same specifics, like the dad couldn't be guilty if the son wasn't
Yeah.
guilty.
It really
So
is
they're
odd.
basically saying that the son is guilty prior to him being convicted and proven guilty by finding the dad guilty.
Yeah, it is odd that it, like you said, it's kind of, you know, the backwards the way that they did it, you know, because the son hasn't been convicted yet. He's pleaded not guilty to 55 felony counts, but he's never been to court, never been tried for it yet. So I'm with you. It's almost like they should have gotten that out the way and then went after the dad, because you're already saying this kid is guilty. So what's the point
Right.
of allowing him to plead not guilty?
Well, exactly. So, like, imagine a scenario where the kid gets off, and you know, it somehow comes out that he didn't do it. You know, he was planning on it, he was there with it, but some other kid shot the school up before he could do it. Right? Then what happens to the dad's sentence?
That is crazy. You know, just to look at it like that I can't imagine that happening in many scenarios where, like you said, the dad's convicted of, or anyone's convicted of what someone else did because you helped them, but yet the person that did it was never convicted yet.
Right.
So how did they jump ahead and do that? Because, I mean, you know, in actuality, the question isn't whether he did it or not, but that's not how the court system usually works, the justice system.
Right.
You know, you have your day in court. You're innocent until proven guilty. So therefore,
why
the
hasn't
kid's
this
still
boy
innocent.
went to trial yet, Shane? Is it just they trying to determine mental competency or something? on this?
I mean, I'm
you know,
I don't know for sure. I'd have to look into it, but I would assume, just like every other case like this, is that he's going through all these psych evals. And, and you know, this shit takes for a while anyway, because they want to get the defense right. You know, they want to get the prosecution right to where there's no mistrials and shit. So there's a lot that goes into it. I don't know what made them jump ahead with this, with the dads.
It really makes no sense.
Right. And
Trial,
Midwest, the dad was convicted for second-degree murder and some other things, but he was convicted on the same, you know, murder counts that the son is also accused of at the moment.
Yeah, that hasn't even been found guilty
The
of.
trial yet, yeah.
That is odd. Let's see, was convicted before his son, primarily because the two cases involve separate charges, different legal theories, and distinct prosecutor. Let's see. Let me see if they can. Colin Gray's case was built on his own actions or inactions, negligently providing the AR rifle as a Christmas gift. But I get what they're saying, that they're talking about this as if the kid's already been convicted, though.
Right. Because
It's weird.
barring his own actions, barring the murder that the son committed, the dad committed no crimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if it's found that the kid didn't commit any crimes, then the father couldn't have committed crimes, which again, we know in this case, he did it, right? He's going to be found guilty, but the law and the court process typically doesn't assume that somebody's guilty.
Not supposed to at all. No, not supposed to at all. But I was looking at it, Brad, to answer your question on why the son hasn't gone to trial. It's saying ongoing mental health evaluations. We kind of guessed that when he's been going undergoing psychiatric assessments since shortly after the shooting. Well, we know he's fucking crazy. I mean, I can tell you that, and I'm not a fucking doctor. He's been tried as an adult, but juvenile to adult transfer and competency issues can delay scheduling because he's technically a juvenile, but he's being trusted. So, and then they're talking about, of course, the evidence review. It takes a lot more. It's more extensive for the shooter. So, but I still don't understand how they jumped ahead and went to the dad before convicting the person that actually did the act. That's odd.
So like CSR says, like being a getaway driver in a robbery, and the driver gets tried first, and then the person that did the robbery gets found that he didn't do it. You know what I mean? Oh, nope, that car didn't do it. But Midwest makes a great point of, well, maybe they're using the evidence that the gun was used, that the father bought, whether the son used it or someone else used it, the dad would be charged the same, and they know off of ballistics that that particular gun was used.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's I can see that from a legal standpoint. It's just still it's just really odd because it's kind of like CS said that you got two people in a car. One of them runs and robs a fucking store. The other one's driving, and then the driver's convicted before the one that went into the store and killed somebody. Right. Convicted for murder before the actual shooter. It's a weird one because they still haven't proven anything in the son's case. I mean, I guess it's known to everybody, but it's not proven in the court of law.
It kind of seems to me of like, if you let somebody stay at your house and then, for a week, and then they get arrested for murder, and it's alleged that they were on the run for that murder. When you let them stay in your house, they come arrest you for accessory after the fact, and then the person that's charged with murder gets off.
Yeah.
But you've already been tried and convicted. Right. So now you're in jail, and then the person that they accused of murder, they're not guilty. So it seems backwards. But Midwest
and even in Midwest, to his point, they know that gun was used in the shooting. They know that for a fact. So the father couldn't even dispute that. So I guess it was easy to throw these charges at him. It was like, look, we're going to get him now. We'll deal with the son later. This is cut and dry. The gun that father provided was definitely used in that killing at that school. There's no question about it because of ballistics and all. They know that gun was used. So therefore, whoever provided that gun is in trouble. And I guess that's how they jumped ahead of that.
And this case might be that cut and dry with cameras in the school. He's pictured there with the gun in his hand, killing people. So they're just trying to figure out his mental capabilities. And
that's all they're doing. That's all of them.
I think they know, and they're probably going to plea deal it to life in prison. And his daddy will be right there with him.
And two things, both from Midwest, but in my example, I was talking about, like, if you didn't know and you just let a friend, he said, hey, I got kicked out, I need to stay with you, right? You don't know that he's on the run, and then he gets arrested, but the police think you knew.
Right.
And then they come arrest you. And then his other comment says, by the way, I don't think your hard drives actually need to get checked. I get what you're saying. It wasn't nice of me to say you guys are all right.
No, I appreciate that, really, because, we don't play behind that pedo shit here. Like,
not at all.
No, it makes me want to put a bullet in their fucking heads myself. So I don't that shit I don't like at all because I have young kids, I have daughters, got sons, I got and it's just
grandbabies.
As a parent,
absolutely,
to have to think that your child went through something like that. I mean, I don't know how you don't murder these motherfuckers. I see, like, the best videos I ever watch are those ones in court where the parents get a hold of these motherfuckers that hurt their kid. Because that's where my life goal would be. I'd almost want to commit a crime and hope I go to the same prison this motherfucker's in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that shit I don't take lightly. That's not where that conversation was supposed to go. It was pedo talk. It was just more of male testosterone at 16-year-old. Anyway.
CSR says you get charged separately no matter what evidence has to be presented on its own merits. And so the case that I'm referring to when I'm talking about this is actually the YNW Melly case. I doubt y'all know the rapper YNW Melly.
I've
You're
heard
too older,
him just from
but
being on X so much.
So he is on trial for murder in Florida. He's been on trial for the last, it's got to be going on 10 years now. So he had basically a car with 4 friends, and 2 of the friends end up getting shot in an alleged drive-by, alleged by, YNW Melly and the other guy. So they drop the 2 friends off at the hospital, and they leave. 2 friends die. So they convicted YNW Melly of the shooting, or didn't convict him. They charged him, and they're trying him on the shooting, and they're charging the other guy in the car on accessory to murder and accessory after the fact. Now, they are holding up the second guy's case until YNW Melly's case is finished, because basically if YNW Melly didn't pull the trigger and shoot the 2 friends, then it wasn't murder, so the other guy cannot be convicted on accessory to murder or accessory after the fact.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, so that's playing out now?
It's playing out right now. It keeps kind of mistrialing and going back. Like I said, they've been going back and forth for 10 years, but they don't want to convict the other guy on accessory after that, because the evidence lines up as if a murder happened. Like, it's pretty much all there, but they're like, we can't convict you, and then we find out that it wasn't a murder, or we don't convict him, and then what do we do? Like,
no, I get it. Yeah, that's a crazy case too, man. I don't
There's
know,
enough
man.
of them.
I do like what Andre Green was talking about, man. It's crazy your child gets sexually assaulted, and you kill that motherfucker. I'll go ahead and say it, because I see you typing those little code words, and the person that, they charge you for that, which we got that famous case down here, of Mr. Plauché that decided to, shoot his son's assaulter in the fucking head in the airport in Baton Rouge and got off on the murder charge, and he's looked at as a hero in this state. Actually, and that's how I know they say that vigilante justice isn't the way, but God damn it, there's not a reason or an excuse for it. I think, and I think a lot of it is because sometimes people get falsely accused. So if you just go around, blowing the brains out of everybody who, is accused of touching your child, well,
exactly,
you're going to make some mistakes. But once it's proven, I just don't see any remorse, any sympathy, any fucking jail time. Just kill this motherfucker, Yeah. I mean, if there was really justice, let the parents have at it. I mean, that's all there is to it, man. So,
it probably wouldn't be a terrible prison sentence.
Yeah, I see in the comment, that is the guy. And I'm actually the victim, his name is Jody, and I'm actually friends with him on X. And, he was going to come on the show a while back, but logistics wouldn't allow it to happen. That was back when we were recording in the studio. Now that we're streaming, I'm thinking about, inviting him back on where he can come talk, and just hang out with us one night and shoot the shit, because he doesn't have a problem telling his story. I mean, he's very open about it. I read the book that he put out, but yes, that's him. That's the one. The guy was acting like he was on a phone, turned around, put a fucking slug in the dude's head, and it's a beautiful sight. I loved it. Yep. So, but anyway,
What up, Big Johnny?
Might reach out to him soon. Might DM him or something.
Well, yeah, Johnny 5.
Johnny, he's back at it, huh? What is Johnny talking about? I think if someone does something to someone's child, the parents should be allowed. That's what I'm talking about. Give the parents a fucking go. I mean, it's once they know 100%, man. Totally, dude. God, but what's God got to do with this? What's God got to do with this? You're assuming I'm some highly religious person. Guy, didn't he also say an eye for an eye? Isn't that what a quote that people like when it's convenient for them? Well, if that's the case, guess what? You did that to my kid. Well, I'll ass rape you first before I kill you. Fuck you. We
can go in a lead room. Doesn't that block like God's vision or something like that?
Whatever. Yeah, God ain't got nothing to do with this. Because God let that devil in to touch my fucking kid. So.
It probably wouldn't be a terrible prison sentence, though. You hang out, you're in there for killing a chomo.
Yeah.
I mean, Probably do all right.
He's court transferred man to female prison, and he was locked up for multiple. Yeah, that's true. I've seen plenty of not plenty, but I've seen multiple cases like that where these men all of a sudden identify as females and get locked up in a female prison, and next thing you know, there's pregnant inmates, in the women's prison, or ones that are being assaulted, and not in this state because we ain't that fucking dumb, but places like California where all of a sudden you're going to get sentenced, and it's like, oh, by the way, I'm a woman. So they have to respect, your sexual preference or whatever, and like, oh well, he's identifying as a female now. Yeah, so that's the craziest shit ever, man. To stick them men in women's prisons like that, that's nuts, dude. But anyway, what else we got going on legally here? Let me pull up this fucking video real quick. Y'all want to watch a video? Let's watch a video, Justin. I know Justin likes videos.
I have a few of them.
What's this jackass here?
Show me your hands. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Stay in the car. Okay, turn around. Place your hands behind your back.
Watch this hardcore thug criminal, what he was doing, dude.
What are you doing?
I'm filling up gas, can.
You understand you're holding it like this, like it's a pistol, right?
No, I was showing her to cut the pump on.
Okay, but that's not what it looks like to the motoring public on the roadway.
I was just showing her the thing to let her know to get the gas.
Do you have your ID on you?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Can I
you get the gist of it. He's pumping gas. He's holding the thing up to show the clerk, hey, turn the gas on, and it looked like a pistol. So at what point can you tell this cop, get the fuck out of my face?
I mean,
Exactly.
In the police's defense on this, right? Had the public have called and then they just drove by the gas station, we're like, he was probably holding up a pump. And then he shoots up the fucking gas station. The public's going to be pissed off.
I get it. But at the moment you find out it's not a gun, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
I have no obligation to give you a fucking ID now.
What crime
You know
has
what I
been
mean?
Yeah,
committed?
no. Once you find out it's not a gun, fuck off.
That's
for
what
sure.
I mean. So at what point, how long do you hold off before you tell that fucking tyrant, you better leave me the fuck alone? I'm pumping gas. You know what I mean? Because that right there, it looked like a gun. Okay, you did your little fucking investigation. It's a goddamn pump handle from a gas pump. Get the fuck out of my face. You know? I saw that and it just irritated me because I'm like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? Some fucking nerd that should have got laid at 16 by a fucking mayor. That's his problem, you know?
There you go.
He can't wait to fucking bully somebody, man.
Was
Fuck
it super or diesel? Do you know?
I
No, I'm
think it
just
was-
curious.
No, but anyway,
I
honestly,
agree with you, dude.
I'm being a little hyperbolic here, but point being, would that guy have had a right to tell him, I'm not showing you shit. I'm pumping
Absolutely,
gas.
100%.
I mean, I think you always have the right
What crime
to tell them to
did he
fuck
commit?
themselves.
What crime did he commit? Even though he's being detained, he's got to be, what crime? Reasonable suspicion of what crime?
That's why I'm surprised the guy gave in and gave him his fucking ID. Because I mean, not saying you should just never, when a cop you can be cordial and say, yeah, I don't mind here. But in a situation like that, it's like, okay, you came over here, you see I got a gas nozzle in my hand, leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
Go on about your business.
Right.
What do you need my ID for? Why the fuck does it matter who I am? I'm pumping gas. I mean, it's crazy. So,
At that point, yes.
yeah, but I get Justin's point. I see the point of investigating it. If people were saying, "Hey, man, I think that guy's got a gun," well, it's your job. As a
I
cop
agree
to
with
go
that. Yes.
check it out.
Right.
But then there comes a certain point where now you're going overboard with your little fucking small man syndrome bullshit. Like get out of my
Right.
fucking face. But anyway,
I agree with
What
you
else?
100%.
Justin, you got any intriguing videos better than mine? Brad, I did see, before we move on to the video, the Pentagon is asking Congress for an estimated $50 billion in extra funds for Iran. So there comes the reason that they're going into Iran. Somebody's making money,
Sounds like it.
Somebody's making money.
Sounds
What's the latest
like it.
on that, Justin? They still blowing shit up over there?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, they are still blowing some shit up over there.
I mean, $50 billion, of course, just I guess they're going to weapons and whatever else. It's
Yeah.
whatever excuse they're going to use, but it's like this war it's never cheap, to the American people, and it's very profitable to the governments that are involved. It's crazy.
Wow.
So, but that I don't know, man. I saw that, and then I'm like, because I think before we got on here, somebody was talking about the the conflict going on over there, and kind of putting it all on Trump as it's a bad thing. What's going on? I mean, war is never good, but
Never.
If you're going by, let's say you're the president, and all you can go by is intel that you're getting, and this intel is saying that they're looking to, strike some U.S. bases in their area.
Can I ask you, is that Jewish intel?
Whatever intel you're getting.
Okay. All right. So, we can carry on. I'm sorry. Carry on.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
My
mind went outside. All right.
It is going to be Netanyahu intel. But that was the point I was going to get to. Like,
okay,
if
I'm
you're
sorry.
the president and you're getting intel from your military leaders that, look, this is what's going on, well, you have to make a choice. You're not over there collecting this intel. You're relying on people to relay that to you, whatever intel they're collecting. So I don't know what other choice you Trump is supposed to have when you're dealing with a clear threat when it comes to Iran. I mean, they're the leader in supporting terrorism around the fucking world. The type of money they dump into it. Yes. And supposedly they had their little nuclear, the little missile systems they got over there that they're trying to develop. That's the quote unquote intel supposedly that Trump was getting. So, I mean, what do you do with that information if you're running the country? Do you just ignore it and hope that nothing comes of it? Or do you go on the attack, assuming the intel is true? Because I'm with you, Brad. It's like, who's giving this intel? Because this plays well into Israel's hands. They love it.
Exactly. And look, do I think Iran had to be dealt with? Absolutely. I think Iran has had to been dealt with for 47 years. I mean, they've been a tyrant in the Middle East for 47 years. If it's Hezbollah and all these other terrorist organizations around. I think, as I said last podcast I was on, maybe last Friday, I am not a person of war, conflict or whatever. I'm not a fan of boots on the ground. And sometimes it's necessary, but when we send our men and women to fight for, if it's over oil or whatever it might be, I'm just not a fan of it. But somebody has to step up, and I think I said it last time. I just don't understand why a lot of those Middle Eastern countries, and there was a lot of them, I think that despise Iran, but I just don't know why they couldn't stand up and do it on their own. And I understand we are the most powerful country in the world, and they need our backing. But I hope it comes to an end, dude. I do, but I just, what happens? This manifests and breeds, and then it just spills over, and the next thing you're looking at, World War III. I mean, who knows? I just don't know.
I know Trump and this administration was basically claiming that this was going to be anything but a forever war, that they're looking 4 to 5 weeks and maybe a little longer if need be. But according to Mark Rubio, their plan is not to stay over there. It's kind of like they did in Venezuela, get in, get the job done, get the fuck out, leave it to the people over there to rebuild and hopefully build a better government now that they've taken out this oppressive regime. Now a lot of this was coordinated with Israel, played a big role in it, as Netanyahu had pushed for action against what he saw as a weakened regime. So he's like, hey, it's time to get them. So Israel does play, like I said, a big role in it. It seems like we're always there to whatever Israel wants. So to your point, I wonder who was really behind this intel. But I'm also with you on the point that I don't think Iran was innocent. I think if they could get rid of us, they would do it by any means necessary if they were able to do it. I do believe they are a threat. But I also believe there's way more that goes into this shit than just Iran being a threat, Right. I mean, a lot of it's a big oil push,
Look,
what are we
fuck
looking
them.
at? Oh,
Fuck 'em.
Just fuck.
You know what I
'em.
mean?
There you go.
Fuck 'em.
yeah. I get you. We could say that. What's this guy telling us?
I did see Lil Terabyte in chat. What up, dog?
Yeah, little
It's been a
Terabyte, what
minute.
is going on? Who's the jealous one in the chats here? You two old for doing this?
Said we're out of shape news reporters.
Yeah, who's the old one?
There you go.
Who's the jealous one in
Yeah.
the chats that, I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand the hate, man.
Yeah.
You can't do
We ain't
anything
nothing but love on
nowadays
this.
that
On this
if somebody
channel,
else
dude.
ain't doing it,
Jesus.
they're hating. I don't understand that. Just do it, bro. You don't have to be on here listening to this. Do your own.
baby.
Yeah. Talk all the whatever you want to talk. I mean, or join in. I'll send you a link. You can get on. Talk with us. It's fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's not that big a deal, bro. Calm down. Fuck. It's just weird. But anyway, yeah, the hate is weird, but it is real. What else we got going on, Justin?
Oh,
You want some numbers? You want to see some fucking numbers? I'm going to show you some fraud numbers, you motherfucker. Here we go.
fraud numbers?
Yeah. Not that I'm mad at you, but all right. Can y'all see what we got going on the screen? I'm sure y'all can read that now. At the bottom of it, this shows the number of, basically the money that was going towards this autism problem in Minnesota. 2017, it was right over $1 million. By 2024, $343 million of taxpayers' money going to this fucking fraud, basically, that they were hiding behind this autism. So either they need to figure out how the fuck autism jumped up that much, or this
Right.
motherfucker on the screen needs to be in prison.
Well, we know that.
Not that he
absolutely.
controlled everything from 2017, but he was a big part of the years that it was growing just substantially every year with this amount of money that was being dumped into what they were hiding behind autism programs. That's a lot of fucking money, from $1 million to $343 million worth of fraud right under this asshole's nose. And he has no fucking answer for it when he was getting grilled by Congress. I watched some clips on that. He just he was unaware of it. He don't know the numbers. He doesn't, just every excuse in the book than to say, fuck, I fucked up. I think he knows anything would be admitting guilt, and then legally he may be held liable, I guess. So you got to play that role that, I had no idea this was going on. But I mean, they were calling his ass out. But the problem with that is they grilled his ass, but what's going to come of it? It's all just, it seems like it's all just just theatrics, so to say.
Just a dog and pony show, man.
Yeah, because all he has to do is get up there and say, I didn't know. And they sit there and wag their finger at him and pull up these numbers that, we're talking about right now, but then nothing. I mean, look at the look on that lady's face. She's looking like she's about to give it to him, and then I mean, she did. She gave him hell.
She probably did.
But that was it, There was nothing going to be
Who was that?
done.
Nancy
As soon as
Mace?
the camera's turned off.
Those
Yeah.
numbers in front of me, Congresswoman.
Did you prepare for this hearing today? Did you
I
do
did.
any preparation
I take
for this hearing
Congress
today?
seriously.
And you've seen the numbers about autism fraud in Minnesota. So we're going to do some Minnesota math with you today, okay?
That Minnesota
Are you ready?
math. Let's do it.
How much money was spent on 2017 for autism in Minnesota? How much?
I don't know. I wasn't the governor.
Okay. Did you not just say that you prepared for this hearing today? $1 million, okay? A quick Google search or using your AI could tell you $1 million was spent. How much money was spent on autism in Minnesota in 2024?
I don't have the number in front of me. As
Were you governor
I
in
don't-
2024?
I was, but I'm not the
Okay,
head
so
of
your
HHS.
excuse before that you didn't know what 2017 autism numbers were because you were not governor, and today you can't answer the numbers about 2024 as governor, and you still said you prepared for this hearing today. It's unbelievable. $343 million was spent in 2024. What percent increase is that from 1 million to 343 million? What percentage increase is that?
I'm not here to be your prop. Go ahead and tell me.
Well, are you governor of Minnesota or not?
Yes, I am. I'm
Okay,
not.
well, when
not a
I'm
prop
governor of
for a
South
member of
Carolina,
Congress.
you can sure as hell bet that I'm going to know the math. The math is 34,200% increase.
Jesus Christ.
An increase of 343 times what it was in this time period. Do you know the number of children in Minnesota?
I know that Minnesota ranked as a top 3 state
Okay,
for children
what is
in
the
the last
total
year.
population in Minnesota?
5.7 million.
Okay. What is the total population of children in Minnesota?
I don't have the number in front of me right
Are
now.
you governor of Minnesota?
I know 400,000 were cut out of health care last
Okay,
week by
that's
the
not-
actions you made.
Are you governor
she
of
took the
Sa- of
glasses
Minnesota?
off.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah. She's pissed.
I am.
And you don't know the number of children
I
residing
don't have
in
the
Minnesota?
specific numbers.
I mean, look, in his defense, I don't know how many fucking kids are in the state. That's what I told her. But, what is your point, lady? But either way, they blasted his ass and nothing, so what? He's right. Yeah.
I'd
he gets to
probably
go
do
home.
it.
What's that?
Fraud.
Fraud, if you could? Like if you
Yeah.
were the mayor or the governor?
Probably.
Why not?
I think so. I mean, everybody else is doing it, right?
Yeah,
So-
that's how I look at it. That's how I look at the welfare system. Fuck it. I paid in enough. I'll take mine. I'm about to get on it. But anyway, what else you got, Justin? Before we get off of here and stop bothering these fine folks on YouTube and X that we're streaming on right now.
I got a guy that tells you exactly how to get women. Not that we need that anymore.
That's
but
what I need.
I want to know if y'all think this guy, if this works.
What? Do it.
The first step to hacking the female brain.
The very first step is you have to establish that you are a high-value male.
How do you do that?
Well, there's a lot of ways to do it, but one of the best ways is to tell them that a story that indicates you are of high value.
So give me a story. Give me a story that illustrates your high.
I'll give you one right now.
Okay.
I show up to the bar. You're a pretty lady. And I go, I'm late to the bar. Crap. And she'll go,
Crap.
what happened? I'll go, well, pretty much spilt Dr. Pepper all over my seats. Now I couldn't even take the helicopter.
Wow.
Now, if you break that down,
Yep.
Damn.
We're gonna break it
first
down.
she's thinking, he's late, so he's busy. And that actually means that he's doing other cool stuff.
Yes.
Then, I also dropped a hint that I drink Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper's.
That is the highest quality soda that there is.
It's pretty good.
Everyone
I
knows
got to
that.
agree with him on that.
And then I
Brad, you a
complained about
Dr.
spilling on
Pepper
the
fan.
seats. And if you listen carefully, I was talking about helicopter. Now, helicopter is a very expensive kind of car that goes like up and around.
Yes.
Kind of car.
And ladies know that helicopters are like really good.
Christ, stop this.
Yeah, and
dude.
ladies have just recently have gotten
I
into
thought
helicopters.
our
Is this
fucking-
where we're at?
Yeah, just recently ladies started to get into helicopters.
Just
What do you think that was? The reason for that?
Probably the internet or Facebook.
They didn't probably know about it before.
What?
I'm so glad I'm married, dude.
Yeah, girls are able to see pictures of helicopters now.
girls are able to see
now
pictures
they
of
have-
helicopters now, so now they know helicopters are expensive.
But I just wonder, where was this guy when I was dating, man? I mean, that's a good tip, dude. Fuck, Dr. Pepper and claim you got a helicopter. There you go, single
That's all it
guys.
takes, dude.
Works every time. You heard
Oh,
it. You heard it.
did y'all though see Hillary get angry?
Well, that's kind of every day of her life, but I don't know. I've seen a couple of little clips from that.
You
What
asked
was
the
she-
question.
Well,
I'm
here
going
you
to
go.
answer your question.
Now you're gonna yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent
You're
my
going to yell at
time
me.
doing.
I'm a
I
survivor
spent
trying to look out for other
well,
survivors, trying to
and
get to the
I
bottom
was
of it.
taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today. You said this morning you did not solicit funds from Jeffrey Epstein, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Did anyone solicit funds from Jeffrey Epstein on your behalf?
Not that I'm aware of.
I'm asking a black and white question. I'm not putting any leading statements into it or adjectives. Did you do anything to determine what was happening in those images or on those trips that once you saw these photos, once you realized Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender of children, did you do anything to determine what was happening on these trips with your husband?
I don't find any of your questions to be relevant to the
Well, it is
investigation.
relevant if a former president was
course
traveling
not.
around with young women.
Well, you'll have a
Alone
chance.
with them.
You'll have a chance to talk to him tomorrow.
If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm
can
done
occur?
with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
living with that.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would like
sake.
to understand how
That's why
that's
Bill looks so
permissible.
decrepit now.
It doesn't
Excuse
matter.
me.
We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So I would
well,
like to take a break at this moment.
yeah,
and I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Boy, I bet she was held behind
You did
closed
have
doors,
a
like,
familiar
imagine, dude?
relationship.
you know?
Yeah.
Damn.
Can you imagine?
And that's another one, like we talked about Tim Walz being grilled, you know. I mean, these two, they decided, you know, they agreed to come sit down and be questioned. But it's like, if they agreed to it, what the fuck does anybody think was going to come out of it? Because they didn't have to do it. They showed that already once, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and then she left when she wanted to.
Yeah, so then I see people online like trying to give them credit. You know, oh, you got to give Hillary credit. I mean, they did go in there and get credit. Like, what credit for what? Getting in there and knowing there's no repercussion going to come from this at all. So it's easy to get in there and act like that, you know? I mean, and then when you're willingly going, you know there's nothing going to come of it. This is another one, just theatrics. I mean, they I don't know anything about Epstein. No, barely knew him. I didn't know he was doing that. Okay, end of story. I mean, that's...
Dude, if I'm ever on trial for a crime, that's what I'm going to do. As soon as they start bringing facts out, I'm like, you know what? If y'all are going to do that, I'm just going to leave. Yeah. I'm done. I'm out.
I'm done.
Just get up and walk off.
Yeah. I seen a lot of the little segments I saw was of Bill, you know, getting grilled. And I mean, his lawyer was making sure that, you know, anything that was asked of him that she didn't want him to answer, she made sure that she jumped in.
Of course.
It was like nothing was going to come of this. I mean, it was dumb. It was just a waste of time. Two systems of justice. I see you for sure in the chats. And yeah, that's true, man. We talk about that all the time. It just, you know, if that were any of us that had been tied to that Epstein shit like that, you know, anything like that, let us run what Epstein was running. And we'd all be in prison, you know. It's
absolutely,
it's crazy, but it's the world we live in, you know. It's the world we live in, man. A lot of people are untouchable, and I believe the Clintons are. That's just, you know, it's just how it is, man. You can throw them in front of Congress or any kind of court hearing you want, but they are untouchable. They're the definition of it.
Yep.
Why does Bill and RFK both sound like they've had strep for the last 10 years?
Well, Bill's just old, you know. RFK Jr., I want to say he had an accident or something that fucked up his vocal cords, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was something that happened. And yeah, he's tough to listen to. Like I said, I was listening to that Rogan podcast, and you know his shit's like 3 hours long. So the whole time I'm listening to RFK, you know, and it's tough. I mean, it eventually I guess you kind of get used to it, but yeah, it's a weird conversation to listen to.
It was honestly, it was from sniffing coke off a toilet seat.
Might have been. He did say major.
Yeah, I think that was the problem, dude. But germs or something.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people. A lot of people don't. You know, they discredit stuff or they look at him like he's not intelligent because of the way he sounds. Which that's why he was never going to gain any traction running for president. You know, I mean, honestly, as dumb as it sounds, that matters. You know, it just wasn't going to resonate with the American people to have, you know, a leader out there the way that he spoke, and it just people weren't going to do it. Sounds like he got the first COVID shot. Not him. He stayed far away from that shit. He tried to warn people, and they called him crazy, man. You remember they wouldn't even give him Secret Service. You know, like they denied that shit and when he was running for president because they did not like what he was saying. So they were hoping somebody was going to take him out. And then I think after Trump got shot in the ear, they decided to finally do it. But I know at first. See, and let me pull up what West Coast Buckeyes said. I saw that. Somebody else was talking about that earlier, you know, sign Barron Trump up for the military and send him to the front lines with the poor kids who joined up. Well, it's a big difference for one, because a lot of them people, well, all of them people chose to join, you know. And if there's a draft, I'm all for it. If it's involuntary, you know what I mean? By all means, send these Congress people's children out there to die. But when you sign up for it, that's a little different, man. I mean, you know what you're signing up for, so to say. I mean, a lot of them might not expect anything to happen. Like, you know, I'm going to sign up for a few years. Nothing's going on. But that's your fucking problem.
Yeah, it's kind of like signing up to be a cop, you know? Like, you don't expect to deal with somebody shooting at you out of their car, but it might happen.
And I get what a lot of people say, because I'm in agreement that a lot of times we send our soldiers over there to die in some bullshit war, most of them. You know what I mean? That there's no need for us to be over there meddling in that shit. So a lot of our young soldiers go over there and die for people to get richer in all these oil wars and shit. I understand that. By all means, I get the sentiment behind that. But at the same time, these people signed up for it. Now in the event we have a draft, then yeah, nobody should be safe. Just because you're a fucking president, your son shouldn't be safe. So I get that. Trump reads at a 5th grade level. Well, I mean, why does it matter? He's pretty much gotten everything he wanted in life, and he's running the most powerful country in the world. So, I mean, that's what we go to get educated for anyway, right? So we can have a good adult life. Sounds like
apparently your Cali buddy reads at a 1st grade level, eh?
Who's that?
Newscomb.
There you go.
Why? What were they?
What you mean?
MAGA.
He said he couldn't read.
Oh yeah, I do right over my head. I thought he said something new recently. I thought he was back in the news. Y'all, dude, stop calling us y'all MAGA. Not MAGA. You know what MAGA is?
We beat up on all of them, dude.
That's like hardcore Trump till I die. That is not. That is so far from what we ever say on here, ever. I support him because he's the president, of course. I mean, I'd hope he'd do well. I mean, he is running the country I live in. Voted for him, of course. I mean, who else were we going to vote for? Fucking Kamala? But either way, yeah, that's not MAGA. I mean, if I was MAGA, I'd have Trump on the wall back here like a lot of them nuts do. No. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
No? No, good. That answers it.
Maybe.
No.
Yeah.
If y'all haven't subscribed yet, hit that button.
Please.
I am Supreme
We
Leader
need it.
Shane. We got B-Rad. We got Justin. And fuck it, man. I will be back. What is tonight? Wednesday. We'll be back Friday night talking some more shit. Y'all make sure you join us. Until then, y'all be good. Bella, tell them bye. Guys, tell them bye.
Bye.
God bless the USA.
Peace.